So today just we are going to brief about ECMO in a cardiogenic shock, as still I feel it is a bit of underutilized modality, and so many of our physician and cardiology colleagues actually they do not know about the proper indication of ECMO in cardiogenic shock. So let us start with the case report. It is a 22-year-old patient, dilated cardiomyopathy, is a class 3B, 4 symptoms, repeated ICU admission for heart failure on optimum medicines and anatropes. So we enrolled him for heart transplant. After 1 month of ICU admission, he received a heart from a 23-year-old donor. The heart was good. After heart transplant, in the surgery itself, the heart did not start working. So it was labeled as a primary organ dysfunction or failure due to stun myocardium. So we put him on central VA ECMO, that is temporary artificial heart, and a new heart was given rest to recover. Patient was shifted in ICU with ECMO, IABP and other inotropic supports. So this stun myocardium is a bit of a nasty thing. There are so many causes which I'll just come across, but whenever we give appropriate time and the modality, this stun myocardium, if we get some reperfusion, the chances of survival is much more. If you look at the progress of the cardiogenic shock, it always starts with the hemodynamic problem, where the only treatment option initially available is conservative like inotropes or diuretics or IV fluids. But as the progress happens and it involves the multiple organ system, then it becomes a metabolic problem, and those cases we need more invasive treatment in form of ECMO or ventricular assist devices. If you look at the circulatory support by available this MCS devices, the first thing is IABP, as everyone knows, and most of the all hospitals they have IABP machine. But the IABP can increase the cardiac index only by 15%. So if we need more support, then we use more instruments or gadgets. So first thing comes as an Impella, which can increase the cardiac index by 30 to 60 degree percentage. But we use ECMO or Centrimeg, we can achieve to increase the cardiac index by 100%. Even we can support the lung also. So ECMO, basically it is an extracorporeal, outside the body, membrane oxygenation, lung and heart function, also called as a short-term artificial heart, lung or both support, or ECLS. It is an extracorporeal modality. As I said, there are two types, one is VV and one is VA. VV is only for lung, that is called veno-venous, and VA is for heart and lung both, that is veno-arterial. So there are several indications are there for VA ECMO in cardiogenic shock. One is high-risk PTCA, sometimes even before and sometimes in after if any crash emergency happens in cath lab. Post cardiac surgery, sometimes in few cases after cardiac surgery we are unable to come off from the cardio bypass machine, then we use ECMO. Post heart transplant, as I said, due to primary graft failure, and certain other severe cardiac failure causes like decompensated cardiomyopathy or myocarditis or acute coronary syndrome or drug overdose. Those cases, if we have a good selection, the results of ECMO is good. And that is what is our registry says. This is a ELSO registry. It's showing there is a chance of 30 to 40% survival to discharge if we use ECMO in appropriate patients. These are the number of ECMO runs in America since last 15 years, and if you can see, there is a gradual increase in the use of VA ECMO in cardiogenic shock, either after surgery or post cardiac cardiotomy. These are the numbers from 2009 to 13, where I worked in Germany in Regensburg. And there is a constant increase in the VA ECMO patients due to various reasons of cardiogenic shock. Even Intermex, it is suggesting the use of ECMO. Patients with the class 1 and class 2 Intermex score, where the patients are in cardiogenic shock, hemodynamic instability, even they are not responding to inotropes or IVP, we can use this ECMO modality to survive the patient. Certainly there are some consideration is there. All patients are not for ECMO. Likelihood of organ recovery is most important, as if the organ is not going to recover, then there is no use, there is no meaning of using ECMO. But sometimes in cardiac surgery, if we feel that this heart is not going to recover, then we can use as a bridge to ventricular assist device or heart transplant. There are certain contraindications like malignancy, advanced age, severe brain injury, unwitnessed cardiac arrest, aortic dissection. In all those cases, we cannot use this ECMO modality. So we can use ECMO in cath lab, we can use ECMO in cardiac surgery, and we can use ECMO as an assist device. So the role of ECMO in acute cardiac failure is to assist and stabilize gas exchange and blood circulation. For that, we use various cannulas. So venous cannula, we just bring out the blood from the body. So 21 to 23, 28 French cannulas we use in the femoral vein or central in the right atrium. There is a centrifugal pump, oxygenator, and there is a inflow cannula. So these all things make, the ECMO program proper. So, and we need a proper team, actually belongs to the perfusionists, nurses, doctors, and everything. These are the various cannulas. You can see this red, these are arterial cannula. We use 16 French to 22 French and venous 18 to 28 French. There are two ways we can initiate this ECMO. One is peripheral. Via ECMO, we use femoral vessels. So you can see on the left-hand side, there is a femoral vein cannulation. So the blood comes out from the femoral vein, it goes to the oxygenator, it goes to the pump, and then it just returns back to the body through femoral artery. Or sometimes we use central ECMO after cardiac surgery, where you can use the aorta and right atrium. So blood comes out from the right atrium, and it goes back to the aorta. So we are simply bypassing the heart and lung. Certainly, it is a very advanced and a bit of a complicated modality, and there are some complications. As I said, it is extracorporeal, so there is a chance of bleeding, hemolysis, coagulopathy, mechanical complications like tubing rupture, pump malfunction, or cannula-related issues, local complications, bleeding, hematoma, limb ischemia, air embolism, thromboembolism. So these all are complications can happen in 10 to 20% of patients, which needs to be correction according to the cause. Even after the complication rate, this VA ECMO is quite successful, particularly when the case of myocarditis or drug overdose, we can achieve the results up to 70 to 80% of a success. While post-cardiotomy or other reasons of a cardiac shock, we can achieve up to 30 to 40% success results. So this all percentage is almost from zero. These patients are about to die actually. And where you use ECMO and you just bring them out, so these results are quite good. Even the ELSO, our registry, it's showing there is almost 40% survival after the post-VA ECMO in cardiotomy patients. There are several studies is been happened, and these all studies actually the conclusion, if we use the ECMO at the right time in appropriate patients, the results can be achievable up to the 30 to 40% survival. This is one of the study from the cardiology side in Japan. They use VA ECMO in various conditions of cardiogenic shock in 98 patients, and the survival was up to 32%. Even post MI, like acute ischemic MI, the results of post VA ECMO is quite good. The best results can be achieved in myocarditis, where a lot of studies has been happened. And these patients are very crucial, and appropriate use of the ECMO can increase the survival up to 90%. So as I discussed about my case, that patient Kalpesh, he was on ECMO for 6 days. After heart transplant, he received a lot of medicines, other management, cell saver, factor 7, so a lot of things, but he survived actually. So we weaned him from ECMO after 6 days. Now it is 2.5 years after transplant, and he is enjoying his new business. Somehow this video is not running. Conclusion, ECMO in cardiogenic shock is a really good modality if we use it in appropriate patient and appropriate time. As a bridge to recovery, sometimes if you expect that it is not going to recover, then we can always use as a bridge to transplant or bridge to destination therapy. That is ventricular assist device. It is potentially life-saving modality and will gain more impact in the future in cardiogenic shock patients. Identification of a correct patients and early deployment are very crucial to improve results, survival, and there are high chances of potential complications, that is bleeding, limb ischemia, neurological adverse effect, etc. Thank you very much.